Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. It's a 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Welcome to the SynthCast. I'm here with Mr. Meatball.
Yes, that's me. I'm Mr. Meatball, also known as Lord Meatball on YouTube and Twitter. I'm
Yeah,
here.
he has never changed his name before, so it's not confusing one bit.
Not a single time. Never
Nope.
once.
And we're just freeballing this, so we have no conversation, we have no topics listed or anything. We're both really tired. It's past midnight for both of us, and it's I don't know. This is I should have wrote like a note or something of what to talk about, but I literally have nothing. I mean, unless you saw the Sopranos movie.
No, I didn't. I did not watch the Sopranos movie.
Oh,
I've been been pretty much just gaming. Just gaming.
what games have you been playing?
Well, here lately, I played through the second chapter of Deltarune, which is pretty epic.
Wow, that's very cool.
That's very cool. I know, it's incredible.
The,
Uh, I played the Battlefield 2042 beta, which was a bit more exciting.
oh
It
yeah.
was standard.
2042, like the future.
Yeah, it's the new Battlefield coming out. It's set about 20 years in the future. It's a prequel to Battlefield 2142, which is like a futuristic shooter.
I
It's a lot like
never
PlanetSide 2.
I never touched the Battlefield games. What country fights what country in the new Battlefield?
Well, in the new one, it's the United States versus Russia, but they have a
Boring.
they have kind of a twist on it where the players aren't actually from the US or Russia. They're all just like group of nomads that side with either the US or Russia.
Like
Uh,
mini proxy wars too.
Yeah, like so basically in the storyline that they've created so far for promotional reasons, they've set the world 20 years in the future where mass climate disaster has made a lot of people into nomads, and they don't really side with any nation except for their own benefit.
And yeah, this is probably going. Yeah, I could see that happening in 2041. The
I mean, I could see that. If I'm 40 years old and this whole climate change thing isn't like fixed, I'm just gonna travel, and I'm gonna hope I don't fucking die. That's my plan.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up that I don't think we should allow anyone over the age of 50 to be a politician because they have the luxury of dying in the next 20 years, unlike us.
Mhm.
And you heard about the Chevron like pretty much putting that dude in jail for what was it like because of the Chevron because he won a lawsuit against the company.
He won a lawsuit against the company and they put him in
Yeah,
jail.
you didn't hear this? The Steve.
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna go. I'm not like the most like. I don't know everything about it, so I'm not gonna go too long. But I'll have to send you a link later because this guy. Apparently, Chevy was like I don't know some major pollution in some Latin American company. This dude, he won a lawsuit against them, and now they countered sue him, but they added like a special prosecutor. He's been on house arrest for like 2 years. He has a big following on Twitter, And
What the hell?
yeah, he got sentenced to 6 months in jail. I don't think he's in jail yet, but he types on Twitter sometimes, and he has major support. Even like Lucy Lawless, you know, spearheaded like a petition for him or something.
Imagine
So
being such a big company can just put someone in jail with a
yeah,
lawsuit. That's
it's
bad.
yeah, that's a
That's
dystopian, man. It's
yeah. Actually, speaking of dystopian, have you seen the oh god, the fucking robot dog?
yeah, those things fucking scare me. It has like the guns on it.
They just like some company just recently put a fucking sniper rifle on top of it. So
Jesus
now,
fucking Christ.
yeah, I'll send you a picture here. Let me send that to you right now. Look at this fucking Metal Gear looking piece of shit.
Let's
This
take a
thing
look.
is horrifying.
Oh, and I
It's a
got
it's a
I
fucking it's a sniper rifle that has like a thermal scope and like a fucking like what is it? Let me read the article. So some company called Sword International equipped it with a specialized rifle called a spur that can fire at a range of 1,200 meters, which is about a little under a mile, and it has like sensors equipped for both day and night conditions. So I'm guessing like thermal, night vision, whatever. And it's fully automated.
dude,
They can just send a robot dog in the desert and fucking take out somebody if they want if they want to.
dude, I saw that photo on Twitter, and there was a reply going like, "This is great because now the future wars will just be robot dogs versus robot dogs," and it's probably like, no, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be robot dogs versus like 30 unarmed civilians. It's fucking absolute nightmare.
Speaking of an absolute nightmare, have you seen the Tesla robot workers?
Oh, I did not see these.
So Elon Musk, he had a reveal where he had a guy dress up as a Tesla robot and like run around on stage, but
Oh yeah.
that's an actual product he's trying to make, which is a fucking literal robot. I'll link you the presentation for that. Oh shit! I clicked the languages button, not the copy or not the paste button on
Yeah, so
Discord.
he got a guy in a gimp suit to just like wobble around the fucking stage.
Yeah, but this is like an actual like design, like a design for supposedly a prototype of a robot. Here's the image of the robot as well.
What exactly is this dude's end game? It's like one day it's like he wants to go to Mars, the other one he wants to make robots. Like I don't like what the fuck is this dude's like?
Supposedly, he said it was built to be made out of lightweight material and breakable, so that they quote unquote can't rise up.
What the
But
fuck?
these are just robots that are going to literally just replace people.
Do you think? I mean, there is the argument that robots would benefit the world in a way because it's like they could just do all the shitty jobs while everyone could just like play Halo and eat Doritos all day. But
That'd be that'd be really cool and all, but my issue is that if or I guess my issue with it is that if we did that, then how are people going to work? How are they going to make money?
this is just like a utopian sort of fantasy. It's not like I'm not talking like
Yeah.
I'm talking like what if there was a point where there wouldn't like money it wouldn't really be a big deal. It's like if we get like a shitload of robots and everyone it becomes like a robot mechanic somewhat or just and like we all take turns repairing the robots and then we spend the rest of the week jerking off and and playing Mario Bros, then what's the big problem, Meatball?
I mean, that'd be ideal, sure, but like Imagine like robot cops and like robot police dogs like putting down riots and shit.
Oh yeah,
Like
or
that's we're not very far from that reality, I feel, and
well,
that's horrifying.
or why not just have robot protesters? That way, it's only robot cops fighting robot protesters, and everyone else is just too busy chillaxing.
Can't automate everything.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. What if that is Elon Musk's goal to make a world where it's only robots being the bitch?
It's
Yeah,
just
no
it's just
counter.
so fuck. It's really weird though. It's just really like when the military starts, getting their hands on robots and turning them into like long range snipers. Like, who's to say that for one, not only could someone hack that, but also who's to say that they're not just gonna like use that on whoever they don't like, and then there's like no trace of it because it's a fucking robot. It doesn't leave any DNA evidence.
I mean, you got a point because it's like I feel like like when you take away the human aspect of war, it could lead to like very atrocious fucking things. Like it's just, like when a man sees another man eye to eye, there could be a point where it's like war is fucking terrible. But it's like now that it's just a dude with like a PlayStation controller, killing as many people as he wants. It takes away like it's probably going to enable a lot of sociopaths, which
It's downright fucked up,
yeah.
in my honest, humble opinion. Of course, we've already had various types of like drones and such, but this is like when you take like a Boston Dynamics robot dog, which was like made just because Boston Dynamics does robots. It's what they do. That's their thing. They've been trying to make a workable robot for years and years now, ever since like 2010 or 2009 or something. And they just decided, hey, fucking slap a gun on top of it.
Dude,
Like, that was literally the mindset.
it's scarier than a robot dog? A robot monkey that could like climb trees and like run with guns and shit.
Why would you need a robot monkey if you can just get like a robot like a helicopter drone?
No, no, I mean like just like a yeah, but a helicopter drone was it's like different. With the monkey, it's like super fast. It's like you know what I mean? It could like climb, it could jump, it could run. Like for like guerrilla warfare. Like oh yeah, robot ape with guns
Guerrilla warfare.
or a robot.
Guerrilla.
Yeah, well I don't fucking talk about
Guerrilla.
I don't
Guerrilla warfare.
I actually like calling it gorilla. I know that's not how you say it, but I've always had a habit of doing that because it's like, I'm not autistic. I don't talk about like war tactics in conversations in real
No,
life.
that's how you're supposed to call it. I mean, it's just not spelled gorilla. It's
Well, it should be.
Guerrilla because it's Spanish.
Well, you
But
know what?
the
I'm an
robot
American.
apes and guerrilla warfare would probably confuse somebody on that because then it's actually guerrilla warfare.
Um, or like a fucking grizzly bear with guns and shit, robots. I mean, they could choose any fucking animal at this point.
They could just get an animal and put a gun on it.
Oh yeah, if they want to. I would not be surprised if I mean it's technology. It's already been like really used badly because I think they're using like in some schools in England with the I know they do this in China, but like the recognizing technology, like they're treating all their students at schools like criminals. It's
I know that's already a thing in China. I didn't know about it in the UK though. Oh my
uh,
god, it is actually a thing in the UK.
I think it's just in like one or
Oh,
two schools. I don't think it's like I don't want some fucking Brit bong in the comments going, "Oh, you fucking can't. You don't know any." I'm like, "Fuck you."
it says
But
9 schools are starting to do it. Wow,
that's every
that's
school in
crazy.
England.
That also kind of scares me is like the facial recognition stuff because not only is that going to incentivize like cameras being everywhere watching you constantly, and trying to like find your face. But also like it's just like why do they need that everywhere? Because like if you have a security cameras already have a hard time like processing like data, which is why every security cam footage that you ever watch is like shitty. Like you ever watch a video of like some guys like fighting in like a gas station on Reddit and like the quality looks like it was from like 1997?
Well, isn't that because if it was like clear quality, it would like render like ass, you know? Like,
It would eat up a ton of data. But speaking of, Walmart has actually thought of that, and there's a Walmart that has a whole fucking bunch of security cameras everywhere. Like there, this one like special Walmart. I need to
well,
find it though.
well, they're paranoid about shoplifting, probably.
Probably, but like what I saw was that there was a like I saw this video on TikTok of a Walmart. I'm trying to look it up right now. It's like Walmart with cameras and a server. But when you walk into the Walmart, you can look to like the right of it, and there's like a big glass like room, like a glass window going to a big dark room, and there's just tons and tons of server stacks, just shitloads of them, and all they do is process terabytes of security like surveillance data, and every single like Walmart aisle has a row of cameras on top of it where the cameras are spaced out like 5 or 10 inches apart. And there's like hundreds of cameras all looking down at you and like just watching you.
I
That to
mean,
me is utterly horrifying. And the cameras are supposed to like look at stock, but it's also like it also kind of doubles as loss prevention, and it's just fucking crazy. Like some Walmarts have had those like robots that have roamed around a lot, right?
yeah.
This they've started to phase those out, and they're starting to do this now, and it's just so fucking freaky to me. I like the whole neo Walmart look. Like I know like Americans are really defensive of their fucking of their shopping centers, but like this just like I feel like an old man.
Just dude, get to the point already and say Cyberpunk Walmart. That's
Yeah, it's basically just Cyberpunk Walmart. I mean, look at this shit. Look at that fucking soulless brick of a store.
Cyberpunk Walmart. Cyberpunk Walmart. Looks like
Cyberpunk Walmart.
that would be a fucking that's a good band name. I haven't
That
been
it
to a
actually
Walmart in
is.
quite a while.
Oh, Walmart's like the lifeblood of my entire town right now. If you don't go to Walmart for your groceries and stuff, you go to Dollar General or Family Dollar.
I mean, for a lot of Midwest areas, or just rural towns and areas, like the Walmart's basically like the mall. You know, it's where people go just to fucking hang out.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
mean
like what
it's the biggest employer in the United States aside from the Department of Defense.
Walmart. It's actually kind of funny. It's like higher, like most occupations, one military, two Walmart.
Yeah, they're that massive. But yeah, that and just I guess the theme of this whole synthcast is just the modern day hell world of cyberpunk horseshit that we live in. Because holy fuck, there's so much.
Speaking of Cyberpunk the video game, I still have not played it.
Really.
No.
Well, I hope your audience doesn't hate spoilers because I will
No,
say a
what?
little bit of spoilers.
Don't spoil it for
I'm
me.
not gonna spoil the whole game. I'm
No.
not gonna spoil. I'm not even gonna spoil the game that much. All I'm gonna say is that the general gist of the game is imagine Deus Ex and how Deus Ex plays, but they kind of crammed a lot of like open world stuff into it. And like aesthetically and design wise, it's like amazing. Like that game has been cooking for a long time. Like they got the world building down. But because it's such like an open world thing and they kind of design it to be an open world, there'll be some moments where you're like, doing a mission or doing some kind of like side job and there's like a really damn good story being told. And then you get a call from some asshole who's like, "Hey, if you go kill this guy, I'll give you money." And it just interrupts the whole thing.
So
And that's just one of many things.
I'm guessing like this is like a GTA kind of game, whereas you wanted like a Saints Row, like you play in the sandbox, not have to deal with a bunch of tasks.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's kind of like a GTA sort of style thing, but it feels like if Deus Ex tried to be GTA and then kind of failed at it.
I
Because like
mean,
there are some things that break the immersion like quite a lot in that game, but aside from that, if you just roam around and like dick around in the game, it's kind of nice. Like just for aesthetic and design and just for chilling in the game, it's kind of cool. But not everyone plays it just to chill. They wanted to play it for the story, and they wanted to play it for the actual experience of doing quests and stuff. Most of the quests are kind of half baked. The main storyline is very good though,
okay.
but it's just hampered by a lot of things. Like it's a game that could have been great that only ended up kind of being good. And if you play it on console, you're completely screwed. Because if you have an Xbox One or a PS4, it'll run like pure dog shit. And after a bunch of updates, they toned it down so far graphically that it's just not really. It's almost unrecognizable from the E3 trailers. Now, I don't
I
know if you have a beefy PC or not, but if you
uh,
do,
I gotta repair
give it
my
a shot.
PC. I've been on my like laptop for months, and I'm just too lazy to go get my PC checked.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but Cyberpunk does look like an interesting game. I think the thing about Dystopias is people either like kind of more rural post nuclear wasteland like Fallout, or some people like the shiny, big, glowy, um, I mean, like fucking. What was that one movie? Blade Runner. Yeah, the Blade Runner kind of like city sort
Yeah.
of. I don't know. Which one do you think would be worse to live under? Okay, obviously the wasteland, because you can't get any, like, it's hard to get food and shit. You're dealing with like mutated spiders and crabs, but
The Wasteland would kind of suck. Blade Runner, or sorry, not Blade Runner. Cyberpunk kind of tries to do both at once. Where in the city, it's like a big Blade Runner style, like huge ass, like megalopolis. And then if you go outside of the city for like a considerable amount, you go into this like deserted wasteland that's all just highways and roads and farms. And there's actually a whole faction that live out there called the Nomads. And in the city, then there's also the like corpos and the street kids who are just like city inhabitants who are like either yuppies or just like little shitty punks.
are
And then there's
there
like the gangs and stuff and etc. But like I feel like when it comes to actual survivability, the wasteland style apocalypse would just be like living out in the wild anyways. It's just already like you can already do that. If you know how to camp, you can do it pretty easily. But living in a cyberpunk city, you don't know what kind of horrors you're gonna see in there.
Nah, with
Like,
with the wasteland, I think you could probably die of a disease easier. No medical attention. It's harder. Like at least in like the city, there's at least like a doctor or
well, in cyberpunk canonically, you can't see a doctor unless you have a lot of money to pay for health insurance.
Well, okay.
And
obviously there's that. But I mean, like with the Wasteland, it's like there's no chance of a doctor unless you yourself or a partner has like medical experience.
Well, I mean, it's so crazy in Cyberpunk where the EMTs are armed and they're called like trauma team, and if you don't have a trauma team in like policy with them, they can shoot you if you try to ask them for medical help.
Oh, okay, okay. That's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Do you see on this is kind of like a Reddit question, but do you think
Mhm.
that's like a slope that could happen in real life? Like in next 30, I guess with the major climate crisis, it could happen.
Well, um, it's hard to say because a lot of the world of Cyberpunk is like very corporate, very like high privatized, like very kind of Reagan slash Thatcher era, but like on steroids type of shit, where like all medicine is privatized, the police are privatized. Everything is a corporation basically for the like for reasons of cost cutting, and
It's like some Ayn
they're all just
Rand.
like corrupt on different. Yeah, it's like Ayn Rand's wet dream, but like mixed with idiocracy. That's kind of cyberpunk in a nutshell.
Welcome to Costco. I
Uh,
love you.
yeah,
That's
except it's more like in cyberpunk, you can literally walk down the street in the game, and you can find a vending machine that sells 3D printed guns that are like disposable guns that you can fire and throw away.
I think the idea I think it's a really funny idea that the concept of like fast food chains having their own militaries and
Yeah,
like shooting people in the fucking street.
yeah. People always do that. They always like mention that whenever they're like making fun of like ANCAPs or like libertarians, because it's just like, oh well, what if Walmart McNuked the Burger King Central HQ with a recreational McNuke? But like in Cyberpunk, that's not far from the truth. The In the lore of that game, one of the corporate wars was started because Johnny Chungus 100 Keanu Reeves detonates a nuclear bomb in the middle of the headquarters of a Japanese corporation called Arasaka, and that starts an entire like world war between companies.
I mean, it's probably already happened in real life.
I mean, there was a point in the '80s where Pepsi had like the sixth largest navy.
I mean, is it like didn't Coca-Cola like kill like a union leader in like some South American country or something?
Yeah, they funded death squads in Colombia.
So Coca-Cola death squads.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola death squads, the Pepsi navy. We're getting there.
The RC Cola would be like the lone Mad Max sort of character. The
It's really funny how kind of like future fiction that has to do with like living in a capitalist like futuristic world always ends up being really goddamn ridiculous about it. Like you ever play Borderlands?
no, I am not a gamer that much.
Okay, well, basically there's a bunch of gun companies in that game where you get guns from and you can loot guns from and whatever. And they all have like a theme, and one of the companies is literally a Soviet Union themed gun company who is a like hyper capitalist company that makes their money by selling communism to people.
That's just an ideology. That's
Like
a
just
trait.
like the aesthetic of communism. Like their guns are all like Russian themed. Their all their posters are all like Russian propaganda themed. It's really like they just take the entire aesthetic of communism, crunch it into a ball, and say, "Here, have a gun. It's communism.
That's
It's communism themed. Pay me."
kind of like a cringy like 19-year-old kid who has like a profile pic of an anime girl in like a fucking Soviet Union soldier outfit with
Yeah,
no real input on the ideology or anything, just kind of like this like shallow like I want to put people in the gulags sort of
yeah.
bullshit.
It's kind of like that.
I mean,
And
that's most ideologies. People just like the aesthetic, not even
yeah.
thinking about it.
Then the rest of Borderlands, is mostly focused on a few companies fighting each other because they are colonizing worlds, looking for some kind of treasure, and they get into like big giant like interspatial corporate wars. And one of the games, Borderlands the pre-sequel, is literally about a company called Hyperion basically fighting itself and other companies on a space station shaped like a big H for Hyperion that you can see from the surface of the planet that you're on in the second game.
So it's kind of like an ANCAP version of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's kind of what's fitting in my head.
kinda, kinda. Basically, in the lore, what I was told was that the all the companies on Earth were just like shattered, or all the countries on Earth were shattered, and like corporations took over, and that's just kind of how it is. And then they all went to space to like fight each other in space.
I mean, it's probably gonna fucking happen with all these billionaires in fucking space.
Can you imagine fucking Amazon fighting SpaceX in space? Like they
The
just
whole,
have like space cruisers up there, and they're like spaceports. They're building space cruisers, and they're just like having big fucking naval battles over the moon, over like mining rights for like rocks on the moon.
dude, I mean, dude, that's the future. Though us stupid peasants are gonna be arguing about fucking Gillette razor at commercials on TV, while fucking FedEx and Amazon have like Star Wars battles in space as we burn to the sun.
It's really downright kind of fucked up.
But
We're gonna be like monkeys, and they're gonna be in their Elysium ring shooting lasers at each other.
it is kind of like we are like the Homer Simpson to their Frank Grimes. Like it's like I'm not like saying billionaires are good. Obviously they're not, but it's like I think they have to like look at us and see us like argue over the most petty shit, and they're okay. What I'm saying is like maybe like Jeff Bezos is like, I'm not gonna be evil today. I'm gonna like not be an evil piece of shit today. He looks out the window and he sees us stupid peasants argue over fucking some petty nonsense like were the Oscars too political or something? And he goes like, "Yep, if this is what they're fighting about, I'm just going to continue being a piece of shit because."
I mean, I think he was gonna be a piece of shit anyway, like regardless of that. But I can kind of see where you're coming from, because when you like, you ever see the meme here recently where with all these strikes going on, where like one guy was like angry about the excuse me, the IATSE strike, the like the film guild for like crew members in like Hollywood, where he was like, IATSE is going on strike. What does that mean? I'm not going to get any more Marvel movies? You don't want to see me when I'm angry? And then you post on like a Hulk gif, and it's like, holy fuck.
Oh man, yeah, it's like that. How is America going to survive without like 30 more Dick Wolf TV shows? Like, holy shit.
Now, I will say, to be fair, most people haven't mentioned this, but that guy did say like he did support the strike, but like just that initial like
Mindset.
just that initial mindset of just like, oh, you're gonna stop me from being able to consume? Fuck that. I'm angry now. And it's like, that's, I think when billionaires see how much we literally suckle from their teat when it comes to how badly we want stuff that they pay for and that they own, like, you got, like, if I were a billionaire looking at that, I'd be like, oh, they're kind of doing it to themselves at this point, huh? Like, just like, It's like, wow,
I,
we're really shafting them in the end. It's like we're going to space and they're gonna die in a rock, but like they just can't stop sucking up that Marvel.
I'm,
They just can't.
I mean, I guess it's like being in a billionaire. You walk into like a Burger King and you see two guys fighting over like you like the Packers, would you like the Patriots, and have a fist fight over that, and just like walking out, going like, "Yep, I'm gonna destroy the fucking world." It's
You think that's how Jeff Bezos got his start, as being like an evil villain?
I mean, I'm sure. I know he's a bald guy. All bald men are fucking evil. That's just a fact.
Well, if he ever grows a goatee, then we know for sure.
I know it's like every time I see his head, I'm like, how does no one at the Amazon executives have the urge to play pool with his fucking cue ball looking head?
Hey, you think when it's Jeff Bezos' birthday, his ex-wife like smacks him on the head for like every year that he's been alive, just like 54 head smacks for old bald Bezos.
I I don't know how billionaires work.
I don't know, man. I mean, have you heard some of the shit that like Elon Musk and Grimes have been talking about? Like
um,
Grimes did a fucking photo shoot where she was walking down the street dressed up like a Star Wars character, reading the Communist Manifesto, and then she made a post later saying like, "Oh, I'm not actually a socialist. I actually believe in an ideology that's not founded yet that involves crypto and gaming."
See, it's just a fucking meme to these people. They're just here to shit post.
Yeah, I mean they've already fucking won. They've already won at life. They've got all the money they want. At this point, they're just dicking around.
Oh god, dude, we're gonna get comments from like 1982 WrestleMania fan just going like, "Hey, you fucking communist rats! You know they work fucking hard for their fucking money. I'm sick of you disrespecting. I work every day, and maybe one day I'll afford to buy toilet paper." Yeah, it's
We're
like,
gonna get some like 16-year-old who played a single sport who's like, you see, I know what hard work is like, and you guys have never worked a day in your lives, but these billionaires work every fucking day. That's why they earned $1 billion. They have a grind set, and you don't.
his dad let him like drive the Chevy like one time in like a fucking school parking lot. He's like, "Yep, a real Southern country boy, hard working ethics." I fucking hate those dweebs who try really hard to like impress their grandpas by like using like old '60s slang like para-marries or some shit. Those guys are fucking dweebs.
I fucking hate internet dweebs. And you know that they just come from the internet too, because like I've never once seen like an actual unironic like ANCAP in the flesh. They're always on like Facebook or like 4chan or like Twitter. Those are like the three places that you find them.
You know, if you ever go to a gym, I'm sure you'll find like one of these guys who has like a tattoo. It's like a really stupid like detailed tattoo of either the Tea Party flag or that character from Gangs of New York who said like racist shit.
Oh,
Which
like Billy Butcher.
yeah, they have. I knew this one. I had like a big tattoo of Billy Butcher on his fucking leg. It was the ugliest thing I've seen.
There's a fucking hold on. There's a goddamn there's a YouTuber who has like a big Billy Butcher picture. Or sorry, not Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher's from fucking he's from
Uh,
The Boys. What's his
uh,
name?
our favorite CIA sponsor TV show.
Yeah,
Uh,
our favorite CIA sponsor. It's the fucking Gangs of New York guy. What's his name?
he was played by Daniel Day Lewis. So
Yeah, that's his fucking name. It's
Billy,
something.
it was literally Billy the Butcher. Come on,
Was it really Billy the Butcher?
Billy the Butcher cutting.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so it's the same fucking name, whatever. Yeah, so this guy had like a portrait, like a giant portrait of Billy the Butcher in the background of his like rant cube. and right next to it was a really tiny portrait of Donald Trump. And I'm trying to find who this fucking guy is. I can't remember his goddamn name, but he's like the quintessential kind of example of
No father
a
figure.
like no father figure shit eating like hipster redneck who just like
Oh god.
rants in his bedroom or in his truck about like dumb shit he doesn't know about. Or idolizes Billy the fucking Butcher, who's just the racist guy in Gangs of New York.
He probably has like a T-shirt being like, "I vote Republican. Are you offended yet?" And it's like literally no one in this Taco Bell ass that's like chill.
I can't fucking find the YouTube channel for the life of me. I think Hassan Piker did a reaction to this guy a while back, but like, or was it Vosh or Hassan? I forgot. But like, yeah, this guy is like a real piece of work. Actually, speaking of, if you want to know another fucking real piece of work, like shitty conservative, look up like Upchurch the Redneck or oh god, what's his name? It's like Grant.
Do these people have more subscribers than me? Because if they have less, I don't want to like go all out.
Do they have more subscribers? Upchurch is 2.6 million.
Oh, Ryan Upchurch, is that his name?
Yes.
Okay. I
Oh
mean,
god.
he
There's
just seems to
another
have.
fucking guy. There's
Um,
another guy named like Grant something.
dude, we're not gonna spend all podcasts going on YouTubers you don't like.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to find these fucking people because they all relate to like the hog culture.
Like
Who's this fucking guy?
suburban kids who
Whatever.
watch like Duck Dynasty once.
I'm just really trying to sufficiently piss off any like conservatives that watch your show.
I'm like they let me know in the comments. It's like they write a whole fucking paragraph if I ever do talking.
Oh my god.
The usual thing is like
Imagine.
the usual thing is like, yeah, oh, so the Jimmy Neutron ski guy is gonna lecture me now, and it's like, I didn't really lecture you, but okay.
Imagine being the guy who skulks the comments of Synth who is a conservative, who watches his like podcast and is just like, he's a fucking communist, betrayed, hashtag not my Synth cool. Just like, oh god.
I mean, I've gotten DMs on Twitter sometimes like that, like you betrayed me. I'm like, dude, I literally make videos screaming about Family Guy for like 20 minutes. It's like if you were so hell-bent on that I share your same political beliefs, you're kind of a fucking loser. But
Oh, god. There's a lot of people on the internet that need to go touch a blade of grass for like 5 minutes and turn off the computer.
That's a Twitter argument tactic. Go touch grass. Okay, I think you're a little bit above that.
You know what really grinds my fucking gears?
what?
People that in any circumstance, for any situation, they'll just like comment under any opinion, just saying, ratio, retweet ratio, bozo, ratio, and it's like, fuck off.
I'm not gonna
You're
lie.
not, like...
It's kind of
Sorry,
funny
go ahead.
sometimes. It's kind of funny sometimes. Come on.
Kinda, but it's like...
When it
God,
fails, it's
like,
funny.
when it fails, it's funny, but like, just... When people do that anyways, or when there's like a bunch of people doing that, it's just like... Nobody's gonna like your fucking comment, your one-word comment that just says ratio underneath like a hot take, you internet-obsessed fucking weirdo.
Here's what I do when in that situation. I go to meme generator. I get that picture of the nerdy kid from Polar Express, and then I write ratio over that, and that's why I reply to the ratio posters with, because they're practically the same.
Yes. It's like making a custom soy jack, but it's already made for you.
I would love to see like politicians argue like that though, with just bringing their soy faces.
Imagine a fucking politician in the House of Representatives printing out a giant soy jack and just getting one of those big like lecture like sticks, like pointer sticks, and just saying, sir, Ted Cruz is this image right here.
Speaking of politicians, you heard about Donald Trump. All these kind of like dorky uh, dweeb Democrats were kind of like complaining that Donald Trump was was unpatriotic, and how much of a good boy George Bush was because Donald Trump was not at the 9/11 thing with Biden and Obama. So they're trying really hard to rehabilitate George Bush's kind of image.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
It's
Like, why do conservatives care that much? And why are people trying to rehabilitate George Bush? He can't even run for president again.
it's I don't know, but you know what's funny is like
He's just a war criminal.
Donald Trump like went to some sort of chick UFC fight with Donald Trump Jr. And I think on air after the fight ended, Donald Trump said like, "Why would anyone pay for this?" He's so funny. I don't care. He's fucking hilarious.
If there's one thing that old Donny Boy is good at, it's being funny. Donald Trump himself is a sassy bitch. Like, he gets angry about a lot of dumb shit that doesn't matter. Like, he's just this sassy little Twitter bitch who just, like, tweets all day, or used to tweet all day, and just complain about shit.
He's
And
fucking funny. I'm not
he is kind of funny about it. He's kind of funny with it, but he's also a horrible shit human being.
What was he had a post I think talking about like why Robert Patterson deserves better than Christian Stewart, and it's like it's like he lives for the drama, you know.
Mm.
Like he didn't care about being president. He cared. What he truly missed was the road. Going on those trips all across different towns. He doesn't want. He was like, I don't want to be president. He never wanted to be president. He just misses going on those stages.
I mean, yeah. Donald Trump is a girl boss. He tweets, he eats hot chips, and he lies. He's a girl boss.
Hell yeah.
That's what he does.
I mean,
Gets through with the boys, and he just lies on in public. He says, "Hey, dumb bitches, the sky is made of water, but not real water, only Dasani water." And they're just like, "Yeah, fucking yeah, whoa!" And then and they eat his shit up, and then he gets like 1 trillion likes.
I mean, then he went on stage and he's like, "Yo, I'll get a vaccine," and they're like, "No!"
Yeah, because like for months he was just like, "Don't get a vaccine. It's a Democrat hoax." And then like as soon as it's kind of come to a realization where it's like, I might have lost the election because my voters are dead. Now it's like, yeah, I got the vaccine. It was great, and they're all just like, "Boo, you fucking hypocrite! God, kill yourself."
He's making us eat broccoli. He's making us have bedtime. It's like
Eat fucking green beans. And they booed his ass.
But they quickly like turned around. Did they like cheered for him after or something or what?
It took them 2 seconds to boo his ass, and like detrimentally, like the whole fucking stadium was booing him.
I mean,
Like I wonder how they like
NPCs.
fifth dimensional, huh?
Literal NPCs.
Fucking right. I wonder how that fits in their fourth dimensional chess. Like, Donald Trump's gonna be back in power because he told us to take vaccines now, and that's actually a double blind triple bluff. He was actually telling us so the Democrats would be satiated. Yeah, got him.
Dude, I used to work with like veterans who this guy told me that like he can't have kids because he assumes because when he was on tour he had to be around a bunch of radioactive shit and it's like probably like fucked up his sperm.
Yeah.
but he doesn't trust the vaccine. So it's like he trusts the government enough to just fuck around with all this like radioactive shit. Now never give him kids, but it's like, oh, doctor says get a vaccine. He's like, no. It's like
It's like really just like pick your fucking battles. Like, yeah, the military was negligent and gave you like nut cancer, but like, oh no, vaccines against a deadly disease that's killing my family? Nah, fuck that. I'd rather die.
I mean, look, I can understand why some people could be like a little uncomfortable with something like free because it's like, what the fuck in this like what the fuck is like what in this country is good that is free, you know? But like, so I could get why people get a little skeptical,
I mean,
but
that's such a bullshit comparison though, but like I can see though that we've just like we've become so consumer brained and we have just like this like consumer brainworm in our brains where it's just like anything good has to cost a ton of money. So it's like if they charge like $50 a pop for the vaccine, they'd probably be lining up to get it because they're just like, oh yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's good. It must work. It's fucking so expensive. Like, yeah, shoot me up, baby. Like it's gotta cost money at this point. Like you ever wonder why Disney tickets are like fucking like what, like $500, $2,000, like some kind of crazy shit like that?
what?
Because like just Disney over time was just like, yeah, fuck it, it's Disney. You're gonna come here. You're gonna want to come here.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh yeah, good enough with me. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
just you just shell out half a grand for a fucking single ticket.
Yeah, it's like how are you gonna look at your baby girl and tell her she can't ride the teacups, you piece of shit? Like we know you're gonna do it. We have your balls in our hands. So
Seriously though, like we as a whole society have become just completely consumer brained. Oh wow, a
I mean,
1 day ticket for one person is $109. Imagine going to a fucking like a local theme park or like a fairground or something, and they're just like, yeah, pay us $100 for one person. I'd be like, bitch, I have a gun. How about you let me in? Like I drove to Florida for this. I'm in God's waiting room.
Florida is where that's where old people go to die. Like what else are you gonna do in fucking Florida?
It's where old people go to die, and it's where crazy people go to live. Like it's literally purgatory.
I mean, it's gonna fucking melt. It's
Hmm.
what was that one? There was this movie called the Florida Project I really liked. You seen that movie?
I've never heard of it.
Oh, you should actually watch it. It's like it's the most uncinematic movie ever made. But it kind of just shows kind of like how depressing fucking Florida is.
Yeah. Speaking of weird shit about Florida, you ever you ever actually look into how big Disney really is in Florida?
I mean, they got like their own buses with their like logo slapped on it, like sending people in
They
and out.
Disney is big enough to collect taxes from the people that go to Disneyland because Disney, the company, has the entire area of Disney World incorporated as a town. So they
Well,
could
yeah,
write laws in Disney World. They could you can have Disney World police arrest you, and anywhere on the property or in the corporation of that town, they could like dump nuclear waste and it'd be completely legal.
is there like a mayor of Disney World? Like do they have elections? That would no, I don't think so. That would be
Probably
fucking
not.
funny.
Let me
What
look that up. Mayor of Disney World.
you
Oh
run for
yes,
district
Mayor
attorney?
McCheese. Oh no, there was actually a mayor. What the fuck?
No, there wasn't. Come on.
Christopher George Weaver, the mayor of Main Street, USA. He was he an actual elected mayor?
I
Or is he like an attraction?
he's I think he's just a cast member, just like posing as the
No,
mayor.
yeah, he's just a cast member.
You
But they
sound
could
disappointed.
theoretically. I am kind of disappointed because I wanted I want to see this horrifying like corporation town mayor person.
Dude, what if it's just? I mean, they should do it, but like have the guy force the mayor to like wear a costume
That'd be funny, actually.
and actually have like all the police of the town like wear costumes too, as like old school cartoons, just like with the running with the bats, beating the fuck out.
Speaking of Florida being a horrifying place to be, you ever see about how like the governor, like Ron DeSantis, is like, well, for one, he's running against Trump, I think, in like the new election, and in the next election on the Republican side. But also, he's fucking crazy. Like he's a straight up anti-vaxxer. Like he made laws banning masks.
He's not, dude. No high command people are anti-vaxxers themselves. They just want people to be anti-vaxxers as some sort of cultural
I don't get
force.
the point of why people like Tucker Carlson is vaccinated, but he's also like pushing anti-vax shit. I don't get why people like that who are like high-ranking Republicans or like just high-ranking just weird grifters
It's
who are already vaccinated want their followers to be unvaccinated so bad.
because it's cultural.
Like, how,
They want to keep the cultural power, that cultural power arm, strong arm in their base, and it's like if they admit, the vaccine isn't going to turn you gay, it's like
you'd think that'd be a bit of a cheap blow and a bit of a like backfiring thing to have all your followers like be anti-vaxxed and slowly die from the disease one by one.
I mean, I mean, I don't actually know. Is COVID getting is the deaths getting higher, lower,
I have no
longer, wider?
idea. Let me take a look. Let me look at the Google. So we just got through like a big spike and it's going down.
But
About the same level as it was back in like uh November, the beginning of November last year, and the very beginning of the pandemic.
like, I'll be real. Like when I go outside or just like to the mall, I don't really wear a mask. I only really wear a mask when I'm like going to like a really small gas station with like a lot of people.
When I'm like with my friends, like indoors, like all my friends are vaccinated. I typically don't wear a mask then, but if I'm out in public in like a big, large space, like a mall or like a school or a movie theater, I'll typically wear my mask then, unless I'm eating something or drinking or whatever. But yeah, usually I don't wear it like all the time. I know some people who like wear their masks like when they're driving in their car alone. It's like, why do you even do that? Like, there's some people out there who just don't wear a mask at all. Like, I went to go see Halloween Kills like 2 days ago, which, by the way, that movie it was like a 7 out of 10 up until the ending. The ending was so fucking bad, but that's beside the point. Like, nobody in that theater, like that theater was packed as fuck. Like, it was the day after the opening, and it was fucking just filled with these weirdo fucking like Halloween like horror fans. I saw like a juggalo in the crowd, and like none of them had a fucking mask. Not a single goddamn one. Like in my county, we have about like a 70% vaccination rate, so it's not that bad. But like we have one major city, and then the rest of it is just like rural. And the vast majority of these people look like they come from the country. Just kind of, you can kind of get that vibe, you know? Yeah, and I guarantee that like they were either unvaccinated or they were just like they just look like anti-vaxxers. I don't know if there's a look for them, but I feel like they had the look,
I
and it just
mean,
made me very nervous being there, as because like me and my friends are like the only like 8 people in there that had a fucking mask on, and this is like a theater full of like 500 people that was overflowing.
oh yeah, because like if it was like if I went to a movie theater with like just like a mild amount of people, I wouldn't even fucking bother with the mask. But with like that many people, especially in like a red voting area like you, I'm like, here's the thing, with my sort of area, it's
I'm actually in a
in,
blue voting area, believe it or not.
oh well, yeah, my area, most people are vaccinated, so it's like, I get a little paranoid. I'm like in a very small area with a lot of people, but I think in big areas, I don't really think about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should, but
Mm.
I just don't really overthink it. Like when I'm going grocery shopping, that's like, as long as it's not too many people, I'm probably not gonna wear a mask. But I
The thing that I've
with you 500 people, it's like in a theater. It's like, yeah,
yeah, the thing that I found that I've done a lot when I was like in Walmart or something, uh, is I'll go in and I'll wear my mask initially, and then if I realize that there's like not very many people in the Walmart, I'll just like I'll take it off every now and then just so I'm not like sweating in my mouth or like getting like sweat like on my face from the mask because I'll be running around all the Walmart and I'll be doing all that shit and I just kind of air it out more often than I typically would.
can I
And
I was
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say about can I guess the ending of Halloween 2?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, is it okay if we switch topics here? Because
No,
I'm
yeah, go
actually kind of
ahead.
curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
Michael Myers is the movie is Halloween Kills. All the trailers have Jamie Lee Curtis going, Mike Myers dies tonight. He
Hmm.
lives. Myers lives.
Spoiler alert for anybody in the audience tonight. Uh, he does live. Uh, they do like a double. They do like a fake ending where the entire town like corners Michael Myers and they beat the fucking shit out of him and like some lady fucking curb stomps him. And like they really put the beat down on this fucker. And then like there's a scene where it's like it looks like the movie's about to wrap up and the lady is like in the hospital talking about like, oh, he's something that's otherworldly, he doesn't die, he lives off of fear. And then there's like a montage shot where Michael Myers just shoots back up to his feet and kills everyone around him and escapes.
What a
And
stupid
it
fucking
was
movie.
so cheap. He killed like in that one scene he killed like every single main character too.
Even Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know what Jamie Lee Curtis
That
looks like.
that's like the main character, right?
No,
Okay. It's
I have
so
to look
that
at the cast now because I gotta tell you who. Oh wait, no, yeah, she is in the movie, but oh, she played the really old lady. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. She didn't have her trademark haircut, so I couldn't tell it was her. But he fucking kills like everybody except for Jamie Lee Curtis and like another guy who was in the hospital, but like everybody else dies. Like Tommy Doyle, a character who in like the Halloween like fiction is like integral because he's like an ex-cop or whatever who would like usually help stop uh Michael Myers. He gets fucking killed at the end. He dies. He's like the main guy. He was the guy that like riled up the town to go kill Michael Myers. And he gets fucking killed in the end. So I don't know how they're gonna do a movie with just like Jamie Lee Curtis and like the cop that shot a guy in the neck or something. And it's really fucking stupid. It's really dumb.
uh,
Like the ending, they kill off every fucking character except for Jamie Lee Curtis. Basically, every main character.
you just
So
don't get it.
dumb.
You don't get it. It's supposed to be poetic that the original Halloween, her arch nemesis and her are doomed to be on this planet forever. Everyone will
Nah,
die
that's
except
not.
for
No. That's stupid. Because
they re
like
they represent
every
Adam and
character was
Eve.
alive. Every main character was alive at the end, and then he just gets up and kills them all. Like he
You
takes
don't
a knife that he was stabbed in the neck with, and he just stabs them all with the same knife, and then he leaves.
I don't think you understand artistic integrity. Okay? It's subverting your expectations. It's
It's not even a subversion. That's just like taking a good ending and shitting and pissing all over it.
It's kind of like playing superheroes in school, and then that one kid says, "I have every superpower." It's
Yeah, it really is. It's just like, imagine you're playing like army with your friends in the playground, and an entire team of kids beat the fuck out of you, and then you just get up and say, "I have invincibility," and you just fucking kill them all. Like, that was the ending.
They're gonna milk this fucking franchise just like they did 40
Oh
fucking
yeah.
years ago.
Oh yeah, and the problem with this is that it was actually kind of a box office like banger. So they're definitely going to make another movie because its budget was $20 million, right? It made $56 million in the last like couple of days. It's been out since the 15th in the US.
They're
So
gonna,
yeah, thanks to cheap slasher films, we're now probably going to get a trilogy movie next year.
yeah,
I bet it's going to be like Halloween Dies or Halloween Ends.
no, it's gonna be called like Halloween's. Michael Myers dies in this movie, we promised, and he like lives. God,
It's just so dumb.
they could keep making these movies because dumb like horror. No offense, because I know you saw the movie, but like horror movie buffs who watch Dead Meat all day are gonna like pay $40 a ticket to see these movies.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hate horror movie people.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, like they do. Like, I love horror movies, but I hate the people who like are very shallow about them. Like, like top 10 horror movie deaths. Isn't it just fucking cool? It's like no, like the
There
best.
was one of my friends watched the movie and he was like, I'm not gonna name names, but he was like the movie fucking sucked, but the kills were awesome, and it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, go to a psych ward, dude.
Oh god.
I
Like
mean,
if you're just gonna watch a movie just to watch blood spill, you can just watch the Saw movie on repeat while you finger your booty. Like, just come on, dude.
like you look at a. I mean, look, I love horror movies. I don't, when they have, I get they have violence. I don't have a problem with that. But it's I don't know. You look at something like the Brood or that horror movie. It's like there's like a psychological that's more chilling than just like, oh, isn't it funny how this guy gets like his body chopped through with like a saw with the Looney Tunes sound effect. It's like no,
And
it's
also, like, horror movies, the thing I fucking hate the most about horror movies is how they try to be like scary and also silly at the same time. Where
yeah.
like I watched the Candyman movie
Don't
and it tried
spoil
doing
that one.
that.
I want to see that one.
It was okay. I'd say it's another 7 in my opinion, but there was like one scene in particular where this guy was like trying to get his freak on with some lady, and then he gets killed by the Candyman, and like the whole like joke thing of it was like he was like a fat creep or some shit. And it's just like I hate when horror movies try to be silly. I just hate it.
Yeah, that was a big genre. That was my problem with the Final Destination movies. Is
Like
they
yeah,
take it
like
as a
those
joke.
Final Destination movies, they get so wacky with how they kill people that it's just funny. It gets to a level where it's just like Sharknado, where it's just like, oh no, a shark flew at me and killed me. It's
Well,
like, who gives a fuck at that?
well,
It's not even
well,
scary.
my problem is kind of like the half measure with horror and comedy. Like at least with something like Piranha 3D is like, yeah, it's a straight up comedy. It's like whatever. But I don't
It
know.
just the horror like slasher comedy genre is just so fucking bad to me. Like, I like a good movie that kind of takes itself seriously when it's trying to be spooky. Like, I kind of like being captivated by it, you know? When some guy is just like revving a chainsaw and he kills somebody, and then he looks at the camera and just like straight in your eyeballs and says "bazinga" as he like kills somebody, it's just like that takes me out of the movie. I don't give a fuck.
I feel like you don't like the Scream movies.
I the Scream movies were a parody to begin with.
I wouldn't say that. They're more kind of like some sort of like subversive sort of thing than a parody.
They're kind of a parody. I mean, now it's considered like a cult slasher, but it's like when they first came out, they were kind of considered to be like a parody that kind of like spoof the genre.
More like
But
a deconstruction. I know that sounds Reddit, but like,
it was
uh,
meant to satirize a lot of like cliches in the genre, but and it ended up being cliche doing it, and like the laziest. Like I kind of consider Scream and like the Scream series to be like stoner slasher movies, you know? Because I feel like the only people that like that shit are the dudes who just like smoke weed and they're just like, oh yeah, man, that's so fucking funny. Just fucking, I'm gonna buy a Scream mask and only wear that for Halloween from now on.
yeah, dude, those movies are for the guys who think they're like really smart for like noticing like the most obvious cliches in movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Scream movies, but I recognize that like it gets a little, at least the later ones, they could be a little annoying. Where like a character goes like, "See, I bet this is the part where you stab me," and then like they have to be like overly meta to the point where it's like, okay, we get it.
That reminds me, actually. There was a fucking scene in this one shitty ass horror movie that I watched ages ago. The Lazarus Effect, where there's like a scene that's supposed to be really creepy, where there's like a lady like sleeping in her bed, and there's like a dog standing on the bed, fucking staring at her. But like when I saw that in theaters, I was cracking the fuck up. I was just like, "What the fuck? What the dog doing?" You know. But obviously, this is like 2014, so that meme wasn't around. But, like, it's just such a dumb fucking movie. Then there's a scene where like the only black guy in the entire cast like gets levitated in the air and slams at like the speed of sound into a locker and just like turns into a blood mist, and it's just like fuck.
Wait, did it
Like
look
that's just not even creative.
where you're talking like the black dude turned into like liquid or
Yeah, he just like gets fucking pulped into a locker.
why do like when you said that I imagined like that Drake Sprite commercial where he's like a robot with Sprite coming out of him.
I guess a better visual metaphor would be like imagine that somebody no clips in like Gmod and they just fly into a refrigerator. But like when they hit the refrigerator, they actually just like turn into a blood mist. That's kind of what it was. And it was funny as fuck. Like that's not even scary at that point. It's just like an uncreative, like violent for the sake of being shocking, like kind of cheap way to kill somebody. And that's what a lot of these horror movies do. They're just cheap with it.
I mean,
Like a
they
really
know the Redditors are gonna like keep coming back for more to make like kill compilation videos.
God, I fucking hate those types of people. Like I hate the cringy fucking like horror fan, like just really most horror fans I just hate because they're just cringe. A lot of them are because they eat the most pulpy like shitty shit that's strained out of the movie industry's ass all the time, 24/7. Like they don't even filter it. It's just like, yeah, give me jump scares. Yeah, give me all the jump scares. Yeah, kill that guy for no reason. Throw a log through that car. Yeah, fucking inject it in my veins.
Yeah, it's not even horror at that point. It's basically just you like having like an autistic like hissy fit at the candy store. It's like if someone talked to me about horror movies and they talked about like The Omen or something, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's a respectable horror fan. But when you go to someone who's like, yeah, Friday the 13th Part 3 is my favorite slasher. Kill that bitch. It's like, yeah, you have autism. Like, don't talk to me.
It's like you're just being edgy at that point, and it's
Yeah.
not even like good edgy. It's just like it's like the kid from like elementary school who used to collect knives edgy.
No, the kid who has like a fucking like pen and pretend to do that hand knife game from Aliens. They're like,
Oh god, yeah. It's
I
just it exudes that sort of energy of just like not even like Reddit annoying, but like pre-Reddit, like mid 2000s, like annoying, edgy neighborhood kid annoying.
the kid
Where
who
it's like, I'll fucking kill him, yeah! Like, it's the movie equivalent of like going on Gmod, spawning a ragdoll, and just like whacking it around a bit for like 5 hours. And just be like, yeah, blood! Yeah!
or the kid who like learns like extensive like web software just so he can make like 2009 like Newground games where you get to like punch Justin Bieber, kick him in the balls. It's
Yeah,
like
it's like that. What if I made a Flash game where I put fucking like Jungkook from Korean boy band and I shot him with a gun. Yeah.
or,
Like,
or it's like those kids who make like memes where it's like some like dude from the military like throwing a grenade and the caption says like, "Hey Justin Bieber, catch this."
oh god. It really is just timeless how timeless cringe can be.
I love the ancient memes page on Twitter. It's my favorite page. I I love it.
God. And you know those kinds of people, like they'll walk into the theater nowadays and they'll be like all kinds of fucking strange. Like I literally saw a guy who had like a chain wallet and he was like stuffing the fattest fucking vape I ever saw in my goddamn life. Like this thing was just a tube with a fucking like like it was just like a fucking tank of liquid. And every time he would just just a whole fucking like cloud would just come out. It's just
Did you
like how annoying can you be?
did you fucking like stand up to him and like kick him out of the theater? Then everyone clapped. It's, you should have done that.
No, I just watched the movie. Actually, I had to sit on the fucking ground to watch the movie because every seat was taken.
That is a cuck move, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, my friend, we were all looking for seats, and my friend who actually paid for our tickets, he like fucking sprint waddled over to the disabled chair and was like, "Yeah, I've got a seat, yeah!" And I just had to stand, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna stand. I'm just gonna sit on the stairs."
I'm I'm sorry, bro, but that is a cuck move. You should have just like gone to the employees of the theaters and be like, "Hey, put me in another theater. Give me a free ticket or something." You
That
know,
was the only theater.
yeah, but I mean, like you could have like been like, "Yo, can I like? There's not enough seats. Can I get like a popcorn or something?"
One of my friends actually went and got his ticket refunded. Like he walked
Good.
in the theater and he saw 5 people trying to get a seat, and he was like, "No, I'm out of here." Just nope. I'm done. Turn around. I'm gonna
I
refund my ticket. Fuck this. And I don't blame him. I probably should have done that instead of sitting on the fucking dirty ass ground of this like shitty movie theater, watching a shitty slasher film.
people wait like do people wait like hours to see Halloween Kills?
I don't know, dude. Like I walked out of the theater when the movie was over, and there were people out there waiting in their cars.
You should have just fucking screamed he Michael Myers lives and then just waddle off.
Just Michael Myers lives. Yeah, no.
No. God, those people are fucking losers.
I actually ran into a classmate of mine from my film class. Like right as soon as the movie was over, I got back to my friend's car and I saw him there, and it was like, "Oh hey," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see the movie." And it's like, "What movie?" "Oh, Halloween Kills." And it took everything of inside of me to just be like, to not say this movie is ass. Don't watch it because the ending is bad. And like I had to resist. I almost broke, but I didn't. I just man, it
You
took everything.
you should have went like full film snob and like just been like, "Oh, you're going to see Halloween? How plebeian of you. I expected something more sophisticated from my fellow film school classmate."
No, I'm not gonna be a douchebag.
You should have done that.
I'm not gonna be that kind of guy.
Fucking spit on him. I didn't. I think I asked you, but you said in film class, if you're comfortable, are you comfortable talking about some parts of film class?
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to ask, do they do the thing where they all go around and everyone says their favorite movie? Is that real?
I They did that on like day one of year one as like an icebreaker.
And what'd she say?
I don't even remember what I said. I think I just read off of like a letterboxd review I made. I was like, oh yeah, this movie's good.
The Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I mean, what?
I think the one that I said was Doctor Strangelove.
Okay, little highbrow redditor. Okay.
Hey, brow redditor, fuck you.
What did everyone else in the classes say?
It was all just like more general stuff. Um, I can't really think of anything up. I don't remember these sorts of things.
Can we like at least like think of the type of characters like when a kid says their favorite movie is Pulp Fiction, I'm kind of like imagining like long,
That
greasy, curly hair.
nah. The kids who like Pulp Fiction are like very, very normie. Like they're just very average. Because that's kind of just like the default like good movie that people who don't like that's just the default, I think.
Okay,
Hell, actually,
okay.
we had to we had to reenact this scene in Pulp Fiction because that was what one of the people like voted for.
Yeah,
Like a scene reaction or a scene recreation.
freaking epic.
And guess what? It was the intro scene where
Oh
the
my
hitmen are in the
God.
apartment.
There's so
Yeah.
many better scenes in that movie you could do.
Yep.
I mean, I because yeah, in high school I was in some sort of media class. We probably already talked about this on my podcast already, but we did kind of like everyone used that scene as their recreation project.
Mm.
But I mean, I think because like okay, back in like 2011, Pulp Fiction was kind of like the edgy, cool underground movie for like greasy haired dudes. Now it's like American
It's not
Psycho.
even underground.
Well, I know, but I mean like the way they perceive it. You know, like they're like, I bet no one in my class saw this. Now that the movie they do that with is American Psycho, which
Kinda. I mean, American Psycho is still a bit more obscure because people don't actually like. People like to reference it a lot, mainly because it's a very quotable movie, but no one's ever actually watched it.
I mean,
People
I
actually do watch Pulp Fiction.
I've seen American Psycho. It's a really good movie, but like the fan base who's like, yeah, Patrick Bateman is based are the most annoying fucking
Well,
worms.
the whole joke of that meme is that Patrick Bateman's not supposed to be celebrated because he's a literal fucking sociopath. But people kind of took the meme too far, and they're just like, "Yeah, Patrick Bateman's a sigma male," and it's just like,
I,
"Go kill yourself."
I'm talking about
like,
like the Groiper kind of kids who have like Patrick Bateman as their profile
yeah,
pic and like
those are the
it's
guys that did it. Those are what I'm talking about. Like, they take it too far. They're just like they saw the meme, and instead of being like, "It's a meme, it's satire," they were just like, "Yeah, this unironically, I'm gonna kill a hooker."
and
you
it's like
know.
and then he's like hashtag like Greek Orthodox values or something like that. Like it's like oh, okay.
Yeah, the weird like white nationalists, like Zoomers, are the most fucking confused people I've ever seen in my life. Like,
They they
what
jump from like Nazbol to like free market capitalists. Like they have no real convictions. They're just
they have no convention. They have no convictions at all. They have no actual like set ideology. Have you ever watched a YouTube channel called Dreg, like JREG?
is that the annoying kid with the afro like wobbling around the green screen screaming?
He doesn't have an afro, but he is annoying. But yeah, kinda. he used to do a lot of shit about like the political compass and about politics, and now he's moved on to like mental illnesses and like philosophy. And he used to do some videos about like frameworks and about like daily use, like that philosopher. And he kind of like noted a lot that Gen Z as a whole, when it comes to politics, unlike boomers who kind of grew up in like the framework, excuse me, I need water. God damn. There we go. Unlike boomers who kind of lived in that framework of, you know,
Monolithic.
we kind of, yeah, where like everything was kind of monolithic, where their entire political view was liberal versus conservative, and everyone hated the fucking commies, but, you know, also, oh, some of us are pro-union, kind of commie, whatever. Like, general, like, McCarthy era horse shit. Like, they kind of had that framework where they saw politics as, like, a monolithic, like, unchanging thing. And they didn't really attach their identity to politics, and that's why a lot of, like, boomers nowadays are just like, I'm not political, I like to see myself in the middle, even though they're, like, a fascist. But, like, Zoomers, they don't have any kind of framework like that. They don't have that sort of, like, grounding in reality. We just kind of, like, live online now, and we just kind of, like, walk through ideologies like hallways, and we try them on like pants, and we see which one fits our identity the most. And we kind of use it like a horoscope at this point, where it's just like, me when I'm riding my bike and I hit a rock, such a Nazball moment. It's just like, holy fuck, like, we don't give a shit. Like, we don't have any, we slide around so much on the political spectrum, realizing that we do or don't or whatever, like, realizing even what the ideologies are about or not. And most of the time, people don't realize what they're about. So they just slide between them because they identify with it, like a horoscope.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, you could even say like the same, like you have like I said like earlier, like the 19-year-old like annoying communist who only care about like gulags and like, you know, just the aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know, people are obsessed with the aesthetics of ideology probably more than actual ideologies, because it's like I mean, I guess you look like culturally at identities, it's like for young people, what do they have? You know, there's no biker identity besides like, or there's no rock and roll identity because it's just hard rock cafes now. There's no like, you know, finding like punk, you know, is a manufactured thing now. So of course, politics became obviously the new identity for so many young people.
Yeah, and on top of this, he kind of like tends to quote Deleuze. Oh, excuse me, I had a little bit of heartburn there. He kind of quotes Deleuze a lot, who is a really niche like French philosopher who basically talks about like, he's a really interesting guy. But the main thing that he talks about is how people without a framework and kind of without like a frame of reference to live by tend to just end up becoming what I guess they would call like a rhizome or some shit, which is a weird philosophical term that basically just means like normal people, like boomers, had like a linear sort of growth in their life. Like they grew like a tree. Like an acorn grew into a sapling, into a tree. You know, they probably started off young and liberal, then became conservative as they got older.
Yeah.
Modern people grow kind of like mold in all directions at once, not really sticking to any one thing, but only seeing which progresses further for them, and they just kind of stick with what works.
It's kind of a matter of the information age, because you could just find everything.
Yeah,
a click.
I mean, a lot of people back like before the internet were very much, you know, they were very, very much confined by their town and by their family and by, you know, what people around them believe. They were more grounded in reality, whereas people nowadays, they can look up anything they have any sort of question about, and you'd think like, yeah, that's an excellent thing for people, which it is. I mean, it is an excellent thing. And I do definitely think this sort of way of growing and learning is definitely the future. But at the same time, it's kind of messed us up fundamentally from a young age to end up being like to end up having not only unrestricted access to the internet, but also unrestricted access to information that causes these like 16-year-olds to end up becoming like NRX, like neo-reactionary fucking like clowns in Discord and like on Twitter and shit. And then like next week they'll be like a fucking neo-communist, and then the next week after that they'll be an anarchist, and the next week after that they'll be an ANCAP, and it's just they slide through ideologies until they find one that works.
I think you're right, but I have to say it's like I think it's a good thing for society that young people have strong political convictions compared to like the dumbasses like 30 years ago who were just like getting wasted at a fucking ZZ Top concert or whatever, and that was their entire life, just make fucking money, do whatever. But you do agree. I do agree that there is like there's a lot of immaturity with these political leanings. Like no like you said, no convictions. It's just like this. I mean, I don't really know how to go too deep in it, but it's kind of like young people in this country have no power, and
Yeah.
so the only power they just want an ideology that makes them feel like they're in charge of something.
Yeah. And another thing also is that I feel that this is still a healthy thing for people, generally because I feel that when people are more educated, when they kind of go through every ideology and when they kind of try on every single pair of pants, they'll eventually find the best one. And I firmly believe that the best one for most people is typically
Capitalism.
I typically find that most people tend to gravitate towards some sort of like democratic socialist, libertarian socialist sort of ideology in the end, or some sort of like anarcho, like leftist anarchist sort of thing. And that I feel makes a lot of sense because typically it just kind of hits all the beats of what most people want. And if you kind of go through all these like political leanings and end up becoming like a groiper, then you're just down bad. You've got something wrong in the old engine compartment of the brain. At that, and you can kind of suss out the psychopaths from the kind of normal people in that way, because politics has become such an analog for mental health, in the sense that we identify with it almost in the same way as we would identify with mental health.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and I know I'm kind of like stuttering because it's like, this is a lot to take in, but like let's say you go to like your family Thanksgiving or whatever, you're arguing politics. Like I agree with you that like the left leaning social dem sort of thing is obviously I would agree with that. But I mean there's people who let it like their identities come before the ideology, where it's like if you come out as an anarcho, like if you tell your grandma like, yeah, I'm an anarcho communo, it's like you're not going to convince them. Like you have to have at least a decent enough EQ to realize like they're not going to listen to you if you call yourself an anarcho communist, like epic teenager, be gay, do crimes. Like you have to at least understand that like you want to connect to people rather than just care about your uh status as an elite.
Well,
Am I kind of making sense?
You are making sense, and I do understand where you're coming from with that, because I can definitely see that sort of situation arising where it's like, hey grandma, I'm an anarcho-communist, and they're just like, what the fuck, like just, are you Democrat or Republican? Like, because that's their framework, and it's so limited. But nowadays we as a sort of like age range have broken past that in a lot of ways, where like we genuinely have just unlocked the rest of the game when it comes to politics,
Yeah,
thanks to the internet. And I feel primarily, and this is my primary point with all this, that when all these young people are experiencing everything that they can about politics very quickly, all at once at a young age, it helps them kind of be more concrete later in life for what they really believe in. And that, I feel, goes a long way towards political maturation, as a society, but also it it also factionalizes a lot of people. It makes a lot of people end up only joining those groups that agree with them, and it's gone from just being Republican, like red versus blue, to being like every segment of the rainbow being against every other segment of the rainbow, with like general alliances between left and right.
I mean, I agree with you that is a good thing that there's like more options on the table rather than just, these two stupid fucking parties bickering till the end of humanity. But like I still think like the ideologies still have to kind of be on like the table to be taken seriously because
Oh yeah,
because it's like if it's too fringe then it looks too immature to be taken seriously. Like if you just like if like if like I'm a
that's valid, but that's entirely because we are working in the same framework as the boomers. We are still operating under a boomer controlled government in a boomer controlled society where everything is still like, are you blue or are you red? And you're only one of the two.
Are you Chevy or are you Ford?
Yeah. Are you Patriots or are you Giants? It's just like it's like their entire worldview is just one or the other. But our entire worldview, thanks to the internet, is we have our little tribe and we protect that tribe and we ally with like-minded tribes. And it's in a way, it's kind of we've kind of taken politics and we've kind of like took it as like we took it from being like a centralized sort of thing where there's just two parties, and we've kind of like what's the word? We've kind of like decentralized it in a lot of ways.
I mean, yeah, but in terms of like those tribes actually like getting like serious movement, they're going to have to like, stop being cringy, immature, stupid nerds on the internet, like, and they have to realize there's things more important than their image. Like you have these people going like, I'm hell bent on calling myself a communist in public, and it's like, well, it's like I wouldn't go around screaming that in modern day, America,
I
being
mean,
expected to be taken seriously. It's like you have to
as
kind
long
of
as the
realize.
boomers, as long as the boomers are still alive, any person that still calls himself a communist will not be taken seriously in public, unless they're in a place that's full of communists or socialists or leftist adjacent people.
Yeah, but I mean, they should like know that because I think a big problem with a lot of like leftist communities is
Well,
that they only appease to other leftists. They
people people should know that, of course, and people do know that. The reason why they're doing it is because they're trying to push the boundary. Because once they've found what they actually like, they're going to agitate for it, and that's for every group. That's why you have like libertarians saying like we should repeal child labor laws now, and you have like fucking like actual like fascists being like we gotta fucking recruit people into another Charlottesville, and you've got like leftists being like we gotta agitate for a revolution, and you got fucking paleocons and neocons and all the other cons just being like we gotta weaponize our church group to become anti-vaxxers. It's just like every group is in like a rat race now. Every single ideology is in a rat race. We live in a scary new age of political ideology being an identity, and identity politics has taken over everything. And people usually say that's a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing because in the future that means there's going to be more genuine, like more honesty in politics, I feel. And we're going to be less defined by just, are you on team red or are you on team blue? You know?
I'm sounding so fucking stupid right now, but just I'm saying, I could already said it, but it's like, they have to be pieces that are already on the chessboard. It can't just be I mean, like ACAB is funny online, but if you're actually like talking about like not having some sort of authority like automatically like tomorrow, that's going to scare fucking boomers into actually unironically starting 1984. It's I'm kind of saying.
Well, the boomers haven't got much time left in this world. They
And
can goddamn try.
Gen Xers are basically boomer enforcers. So.
I mean, kinda. That is a sad reality, but it's slowly becoming more and more. I think also because of COVID, that millennials and Gen Z are starting to outnumber them for once.
I don't know, man. There's some boomers I like more than Gen Xers. I think Gen Xers are more arrogant than boomers.
Gen Xers are really strange because a lot of them, when they were younger, they were more like they were really apathetic and misunderstanding, and nowadays they're just angry and ignorant. At least the boomers know what they're doing is bad for the most part. The Gen Xers don't even understand it.
I mean, they South Park was created by Gen Xers, and I think I like South Park, but a lot of the old South Park was like caring about things is lame, and it's like watching those now.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I still like South Park because it's I think Cartman is still funny.
Hmm.
And there are episodes where I'm like, yeah, that is a good point. There are episodes I do take have good meanings, but man, there's a handful of episodes I'm like, yeah, this is I don't know, dude, like what college activists like traumatize Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Right. Like, it's really fucking just funny how a lot of South Park for the longest time just boiled down to we shouldn't care. Why do you care? Caring's dumb. And that's kind of just like the millennial mindset. And now it's like too late to care, or it's like too late to really care effectively about anything. And that was exemplified in the Man Bear Pig follow-up episode, which happened not too long ago, where they literally apologized to Al Gore because he was right about Man Bear Pig, which is of course an analog for climate change.
Yeah,
Because
the Al
they
Gore
initially
is.
denied climate change.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't like Al Gore. No one likes Al Gore, but he was right about the fucking climate change. And I think Trey and Matt have this thing where it's like, they're like culturally South Park is they're pretty spot on.
Hmm.
Like the smoking episode, like they're right about those cringy school, smoking people, like anti-smokers.
Yeah.
But it's like them trying to make the smoking industry be like victims because they personally think Rob Reiner is like preachy. It's like they kind of infuse like personality or person themselves with the actual topic.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works. There's sometimes good examples, like the medical KFC marijuana episode was actually a really good episode
Hmm.
of how, like, yeah, banning shit isn't going to automatically make things better. You have to think more in depth with it.
Yeah.
But
And like there's some modicum of social awareness that they have, but really a lot of it is just like that like dumb stoner libertarian just like nihilist outlook where it's just like everyone's bad equally in the end. Or
I,
like these guys are wrong because that can't possibly happen.
I,
Like
I don't think it's as bad now. But what were we gonna say?
it's definitely not. They've definitely gotten a lot better with all of their criticisms, but it's just like they just
Team America is
like they do.
pretty unwatchable.
Yeah. Team America is kind of a cringe fest, going back at it now.
Yeah, they have like a scene where like Michael Moore is like, what? And they make him like a fat. I mean, I get. I mean, okay, he is fat, but they make him like this like really whiny puppet going like, I hate America. I'm a communist because he like opposed the Iraq War or some shit. It's like it's not really like a fair critique. It's just you not liking the person.
Yeah. Which I mean, I get that the entire movie was meant to be like a parody of like conservative like war hawk jingoism, but like at the same time, having Michael Moore be a villain who's like, I'm a socialist, time to revolt, and he just like blows up their lair with like TNT and like a suicide bombing. It's just like, what? So are you saying that Michael Moore is on the same side as the Taliban? Like, I get there's like a meta joke there where it's like that's what conservatives probably believe, but like when you watch that in movie format, it just makes you think like these guys just don't like Michael Moore because he's a socialist.
I mean, people talk about how cancel culture is like so rampant today's, which I mean, okay, yeah, there is some like annoying, like try hard
I
leftist
really,
types who want good boy points by like like oh here's a tweet from 10 years ago. I mean, okay, it happens every once in a while, but I mean, you look like 10 years ago, like years ago, like Michael Moore got booed off stage for not for like dissing George W. Bush.
yeah.
And it's like conservatives were doing cancel culture like a major. They still kind of are in a way.
People tend to forget that conservatives were kind of like the progenitors of the quote unquote cancel culture sort of mindset. Because conservatives, for the longest while, try to ban video games. They try to ban Monster Energy drinks. They try to ban all kinds of dumb shit. And hell, one could even point at the entire war on drugs as being like them trying to cancel hippies and black people by targeting drugs, which is, by the way, a thing that literally Richard Nixon said. Or I guess Richard Nixon's advisor said why they did that. They were targeting hippies and basically people that would be leftist
I mean,
by doing the entire war on drugs.
I will kind of have to do a little because I know I'm gonna get a comment going like, well, actually, a lot of video games were wanting to get banned by people like Al Gore's wife. So nice try, libtards. But I mean, you kind of know what we mean with like
Like,
counterculture
hey
nowadays.
audience, Google Jack Thompson. Google any Control Alt Delete comic from like 2005 to 2008, and you'll find plenty of gamer rage against conservatives trying to cancel video games.
Is Circle Alt
But
Delete really something you want to show these people that garbage ass comic?
I mean, it's Lost. They probably know Lost. It's a meme, right? I'm sure they know that.
I mean,
But
I think a lot of those examples you kind of gave are kind of vague because like when I think of I don't know when I think of like dominant conservative council culture I really do think of like the McCarthyism like that's
well,
communism
yeah,
sort
that
of thing.
too. Any Red Scare is just like a want to talk about cancel culture? Look at the fucking the two Red Scare moments in U.S. history. In the 30s and the like 1950s, where you just had people being like, "You're a communist. You need to get fired from your job, you anti-American traitor."
And it's like you didn't even like say you were a communist. You just didn't want to abolish child labor laws or something like that.
Like half of the time, they were just people that associate with unions. Where it's like, oh, I'm a union rep, or I'm like a union organizer, I'm a member of a union. It's like, you're a fucking socialist! Die!
I
But
mean, there
like,
was like
cancel.
oh, I was going to just say like the CIA sponsored like enabled a bunch of killings in like Indonesia to take
Oh,
out
yeah.
communists, and like most of the people who die were like fucking factory workers or just random Chinese people,
Yeah.
and it's like yeah,
People
totally.
don't often talk about how much the CIA has killed people simply for being left. Hey,
Don't say anything.
hey, government, SynthCool is a leftist.
No,
Target
no,
acquired.
no, no, Shh. Um,
But no, like going back to cancel culture though, I fucking hate the conservatives and like the conservative comedians and just like anybody who's like moderately famous who's on the right. All they ever fucking talk about is cancel culture. Even politicians are talking about cancel culture. Just like,
it's
shut the fuck up. People
it's
disagree with you. So what?
it's a cultural pet peeve to distract from like actual fucking problems.
Yeah, like fucking like oh god, like the fucking governor of Florida and like the governor of Texas both try to like run a campaign against cancel culture. It's like, what are you gonna do? Stop people from having an opinion?
I mean, yeah,
Because all they're doing is just disagreeing.
the government's not there to address fucking any climate solutions or any like the years,
Well,
decades of corruption from like the deep state. No, they're just there to bring like it put these petty fucking things that people are bickering about on Twitter to the fucking stadium and have the public kill each other over that.
have them claw each other's eyes out in a gladiatorial battle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's not solve climate change. Let's just have them fight over fucking the Dave Chappelle special on Netflix. Which, speaking of, what a fucking shitty special that was. Not because not because the jokes are bad when they weren't, punching down on people, but just because, like, Dave Chappelle just used his whole platform just to be like, hey, fuck trans people, fuck gay people. I'm on team fuck trans people. Haha, fuck them. Like that was his whole message. It's like, yeah, I'm with J.K. Rowling because fuck people who are different. And then there's like a legion of just fucking these like little tar brain consumers just like, yeah, the fucking goat did it again, yeah, he offended them. Just like, oh my god.
I mean, I'll be kind of real. Like, I mean, there are times where I'm like a little confused by like the transgender movement and
Yeah.
such. And like, I'm like, I don't really even understand like why someone wouldn't want to be called like they, them. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, if someone was like nice to me and was like, call me a she or a he, I'm like, okay, as long as they were nice. So I don't because it's like at the end of the day, it's not a big issue. Like a trans
Well,
person being in your
maybe not for
neighborhood.
you.
No, what I mean is like, okay, obviously it's a big issue for transgender people who are, being treated like shit. Well, I meant for like the conservative boomers who are like, it's like, so what if like someone in your neighborhood is like transgendered? It's like,
Yeah.
you like, why don't you like deal like politicians have been fucking skimming your fucking tax dollars for like Freemason orgies at Yale University, like and like selling like weapons to like other countries to like for some fucking Ponzi scheme weapon manufacturing thing. Like okay, like if transgenders makes you uncomfortable, it's like okay, fine, but there's things that are way more of a bigger fucking threat, and it's just like
Well, you
I don't
see
know
that
why.
they operate on the framework of team versus team. They gotta have a scapegoat. They gotta have something to fight against. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party are like a wet noodle compared to the outrage that you can generate by just turning like dumb fundamentalist, like homophobic Christians and just like these Republican hogs against just trans and gay people. Just like, you blue hairs, you look and talk weird. I hate you, and it's a distraction. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. It's just a big fucking distraction from all the weird shit that their like representatives and senators and people in power are doing constantly. I mean, the Paradise Papers dropped and nobody gives a shit about them. Isn't that a little weird? But yet it's still just like, oh, well, the Panama Paper, or I mixed them up because there's two of them. The Paradise Papers dropped. Oh, let's release the fucking Netflix special where Dave Chappelle says, fuck trans people. It's just like, yeah, that'll distract him.
I
It's
mean,
like,
it's been
I feel
going
like that's
on.
what it is at this point.
It's been going on for like decades, dude. Like in the 80s, like, people were arguing about like prayer in school while Reagan was like selling weapons to giving
The
out fucking weapons like
Contras
yeah, Iran Contra. And
selling no, he's selling weapons to the Iranians to like it was something with like cocaine.
yeah,
There's a lot of
deregulating like every fucking industry to the point where it's like, oh, your job it's probably going to like be shipped away. Yeah, so much for work ethics, asshole.
Yeah, but do you remember that time when Reagan made jokes about the Soviet Union? Ah, fucking
Yeah,
funny.
for those about to rock, we salute you.
We as a society are as a we live in a society. Americans are plagued with consumer brain. If anything is like remotely entertaining or remotely anger inducing, we just fucking flock to it like moths to a flame. Did you know that Facebook recently got in trouble because they it was leaked, like the Facebook leaks came out that they were actually inflaming hatred and inflaming anger between like groups of people because that actually drove up Facebook interactions so they could get more information from people that they could sell to advertisers.
I mean, yeah, I seen
And
like
they profited off of a genocide in Myanmar, and they actually inflamed the genocide by not stopping the genocide doers from using Facebook to organize against the genocider, the genocidees, the victims.
yeah, and I see a bunch of posts going like, "Yep, Mark Zuckerberg's in a lot of trouble. He lost $5 billion. Our work, the government's work there is done." And it's like, oh, okay, no, he has like $100 billion. That's like barely a fucking scratch.
People
He's,
often forget that even if like billionaires' money is tied into like stocks and stuff, it would take an act of God for them to just naturally go bankrupt.
I mean, dude, people are fucking are so fucking stupid. I see these videos of like you'll see a video of like I don't know, some like girl in Florida. She says she's like in trial. She looks very tired and such. Having a very stressful day. She's like charged for like possession of some drug or something, and she says like adios to a sarcastic way to the judge or something, and all these fucking losers in the comments like, fucking disrespectful cunt, what a fucking bitch, you're making a mockery of the justice system. And it's like, dude, like, if you're more mad at this like random girl than like the Sackler family, you are the dumbest piece of shit alive. Like, I'm sorry, you have the brain of a ham. You are an angry, stupid ham person who, all you want to do is fucking fight, but you don't know what you want to fight for. You're fucking stupid.
It's easier for people to look at a character made of straw and to stab it than to actually look down a real human being causing like actual problems and to fight them. It's literally just a straw man fallacy sort of thing where it's just like they'll go on on a video of like a person doing something wacky or even like mildly irritating and just be like, "You fucking fucker, I'll fucking kill you," and then they act all big and shit. But when it comes to like the actual people like who in my area put like dumped like tons of like Teflon in the water and gave people cancer, it's like no one's gonna fucking fight them. No one cares.
They're
They're not in a
based.
wacky they're not in a wacky video getting made fun of in public. No, they're rich CEOs.
Yeah,
They're people
it's
with money, so we fear them.
God, dude. That's like you ever heard of this YouTuber called A Dose of Buckley?
No.
I'm not gonna go too much, but it's like, yeah, he posed as this like really smart intellectual guy, and that was his video, shitting on that like girl for being kind of like ditzy at a trial, and it's just like, like you're not an intellectual for like, having such like low hanging fruit of a fucking target. It's
I
you're
hate
not.
I hate the YouTube commentary community a whole lot. I hate people like that so much. People that just like it's the equivalent of like recording a shower argument and just being like, yeah, I'm a badass because I looked at this video of a person and I said, this person more like cringe, avatar crosses arms. Yeah, fuck you. I'm smarter than you. Like that's the whole fucking that's the entire community.
I
And
mean,
they just do this shit back and forth to each other sometimes too, where like people like small like these ANCAP like fucking rant sonas will fight against like leftist rant sonas, and these like Nazi rant sonas will fight against all the other rant sonas, and it's just like when they're not fighting each other, they're just finding dumb shit to dredge up and be like, you see this? This is stupid, and I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm also smart.
it's I mean, the format could be done right if the person is like actually interesting, has something interesting to say. But a lot of these dumb fucking kids, they just don't. They have like the charisma of a fucking Cheeto. They're annoying fucking twits. Like, at the end of the day, they're just like bickering to each other. It's like I don't care about like the Keemstar H3H3 drama. Like if you want to
Yeah.
make a if you want to make a video shitting on them, that's fine. But if that's the only thing you do on your channel, it's like, dog.
Like a lot of these channels really are just one trick ponies. All they know how to do is bitch about shit. Like, you ever check out a right
Unlike
wing
us,
like, huh?
I said unlike us.
Yeah, unlike us. Clearly, unlike us. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing right now, but at least we're self-aware, I guess.
Yeah.
But you ever watch a YouTube channel called Mauler, who's like he's like a right-wing fucking anti-everything fucking retard. Sorry, can I say that word in this channel? That's probably a bad word.
Yeah, you could say whatever you want.
Okay, whatever. Uh,
I'm
Probably
past the
shouldn't have said
point
that
of
word.
having a standard. So you want me to censor it?
No, it's whatever.
If
I'll take accountability for it.
if I censor it, might still look like you said the N word.
That's true. That's true. I just attention audience. Lord Meatball is not against the differently abled. He is differently abled himself. Thank you. Um.
Mashed potatoes.
Okay, now come on. Now,
Okay.
but like going back to the point, this fucking conservative guy, Mahler, he makes quote unquote long form media discussion. He made a what was it? Was it a 6 hour long video? Oh god, like every video that he makes is like at least an hour long. But he made one that's like fucking god, like just god, let me fucking. He made a 4 hour long video about Black Widow, and then he made an 8 hour long video about something else. I need to find it.
I mean, I
But
listened
like,
to an hour review of Black Widow from Red Letter Media, so I can't really judge too much on that. Sometimes
yeah, but
movie
this guy,
discussion's good.
all of his like criticisms are just really dumb for the most part. Like half of it is kind of like what E:R did, where it's just like, woman in my media, bad. you know.
And it's done kind of like a quirky, smug, like ironic, but like secretly unironic way, where it's like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I give. I'm not gonna look too much into this guy. It just seems like a bunch of Star Wars videos, like cool, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm not telling you to watch him. I'm just telling you that this guy exists, and a lot of his videos are just horrific cringe. But like there's like this whole segment of like rant of just people who rant, and this guy, his entire career, his entire like 377,000 subscriber verified YouTube channel is just bitching, and that's it.
Uh, yeah, I would never know how to do that. So
It's crazy how far outrage goes.
I mean, hey, look, man. Sometimes, like, I think the problem is that his criticisms is stupid, not the fact that he's full of rage and rant. Because sometimes passion's a good thing. Sometimes, like the Amazing Atheist, he has some cringy takes every once in a while, but I feel like I like the guy because he's passionate, and some of his criticisms are right. Sometimes being an angry ranter has its benefits.
Also, I just hate smug fucking rant stone people.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, I agree with you there. You got a point there. When a dose of Bugley calls himself like some cringy bio like angry comedy, angry rant comedy coming from an angry man, I'm just like, what a fucking poser.
Also, um, like I name dropped a bit ago, like E semicolon R, but he really is just the quintessential like smug fucking reviewer person that I just fucking hate.
I, I
I've
don't
never
think
liked
he
that.
I don't
Never
think he
liked that
makes
guy.
reviews that much anymore.
Uh, he hasn't made one for about a year, so I hope his channel's dead.
Well, we should probably wrap this pod up in about 5 or 6 minutes. So any final
Yeah,
thing you want to end on?
I'm feeling my life force withering as I continue talking about rant sonas.
Could we let's end it on something light. Let's one final thing light. Like I don't know, are you gonna watch The Simpsons that came out today?
The Simpsons came out today.
A new
I don't
episode.
watch. I don't really watch TV that much. I don't have cable.
Oh, okay. What do you? Oh, Squid Game. I know you fucking watched it. I know you've seen
I
it.
did. I did watch Squid Game. It's very good.
Do you? Well, why do you think it got so big in America? Because I like the show. I think it's good. Everyone loves it. It's really
Well,
big.
I feel like it got big in America for the most part, mainly because of like three or four reasons. One of the reasons I feel is because Parasite got really big in America, and that kind of like opened the door for like South Korean media. And I
Yeah,
feel like when people
K-pop.
saw when people saw Squid Game, they probably thought like, oh, it'll be like Parasite. Then they watched it and they're like, holy shit, it's actually a really good thing on its own. Another thing is that Americans are so consumer brain that they'll see blood and they'll be like, oh, fucking, cool. And like if you kill someone in like a unique way, then it's like, oh, fucking hell yeah, bro. And they just like they make a Roblox game of it in like 2 minutes. you
Like
know?
a Mr. Beast like makes a parody, not even like understanding the basic like commentary of the show.
Yeah, and like the actual commentary of the show is like capitalism is bad because it forces people to do things they don't want to do for money because they're desperate. But like then Mr. Beast is like, I'm gonna pay someone $1 million to win the Squid Game, and it's just like, what? You're just doing it. You're just recreating it without actually like being aware. like you're just carbon copying it. It's like when Hunger Games got really popular and people were just like, "Whoa, that's fucking sick! Let's make everything Hunger Games from now on."
Yeah, let's do like oh boy, my Katniss Evergreen costume. Yeah, I'm just like her, and it's like no, the whole point is like you don't want a world where you end up like this character. This should never happen in the
Yeah,
first place.
the point is that while it alludes to our current day world, the point is that it's a bad world to be in, and just being like, "Yeah, what if we had a Hunger Games instead of like elections?" It's just like, go, just fucking toaster and bathtub.
I mean, with Squid Games, I didn't really put it under a political lens. I put it or economic. I put it more on like a cultural kind of lens of like what happens with like an apathetic sort of society where people just have like no sense of unity. Just kind of like I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
well, of course, there's the economic where it's like, okay, yes, there is economic commentary where like the dude lives with his mom despite having this having a bunch of work, and he mentions like the bosses like fucked over his factory.
A running theme I found with a lot of South Korean media, at least with like Parasite and Squid Game, is that there's a lot of like comparison of poor versus rich. And what they typically tend to do that a lot of other media doesn't do is they actually try to find similarities. And a similarity that they find in Squid Game is that rich people and poor people, it's kind of revealed by the end of the show, that they kind of both live meaningless lives, and that they're both just trying to find some kind of meaning, and that poor people try to find that meaning by accumulating money, and rich people try to find that meaning by indulging in sick shit like having people kill each other for a game. And it's like, yeah, but you can kind of see where like the humanity of it still is in favor of the poor people's struggles. Because like poor people, they just want freedom. They want freedom from their situation. Rich people just want to get they just want to get their jollies off.
Well, I mean, I don't think the show's intent was to be like neutral or balanced. Like the
Of course
show,
not.
the show clearly shows like all the rich people killing, and like even like the rich fat fuck like molesting a fucking dude. Like,
Yeah,
so
like
I mean,
they're
like it's obvious. The point is like, oh, this old piece of shit at the spoiler, the old piece of shit at the end is like a fucking dumb hypocrite, and it's like, yeah, his philosophy, like rich people, they have a philosophy where they think they're like gods, they do, but at the end of the day, like their philosophy is just shallow. They're just assholes with money. Like I think that's kind of like
yeah,
the vibe I got at the end of the show. And I do think there is this cultural, but going back to saying like the meaningless lives thing, I think there is kind of, because it's like, okay, yeah, you do see a lot of the contestants of the Squid Games doing lots of unethical things, as you would see the rich people doing unethical things. I think it's just more so about like, the human condition. I think it's just more like the culture of where obtaining wealth is ultimately like, if that's your main mindset in life, it's ultimately going to be toxic, regardless if
yeah. It's
you're
gonna
poor or
fuck you
rich.
up.
Because that's
It's gonna
my kind
fuck
of
you up,
take.
and it's gonna fuck up people around you. And another thing also is that with Squid Game, another running theme is that a lot of these poor people were kind of like, they get put in these bad situations because these rich people wanted to see if humans still had any good in them. That was another theme. But like, I feel like every human, if given the chance, has the capacity to be good. I mean, there's kind of like a dichotomy here between like how rich people see humanity and how poor people see humanity, where rich people were given good choices and they made those good choices and they ended up becoming successful because of it, and now they're going around and trying to test these poor people by giving them nothing but bad choices and making them play these bad games, or else they die or go in horrible debt. And it's like the real difference between the two is that the poor people didn't have good choices to make.
Well,
you know,
I,
that there's a lack of good choices to make. They can't just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna prove my humanity by winning this game." But like, to win the game, you have to kill everyone else.
well, I think the show does a good job of showing how shallow the rich people's ideology is, because like how quickly
Yeah,
they sometimes turn on each other, just like the snap of a fucking finger. How easily they'll betray each other. Like they're just as like bad as. Like, I mean, obviously they're worse than the poor people, but from their perception, like they think they're better, even through it's clearly shown that they're just is fucking scummy, and obviously more so seeing that they're fucking having sex slaves.
yeah.
So
Not to
um
mention also just away, like moving away from the politics of the movie, because I could talk about the politics of the movie for ages. The cinematography, very well done. Like the cinematography and the set pieces are very unique, and I think that drew a lot of people into Squid Game, and just the idea of like foreign kids games becoming like a death game is an interesting kind of like weird new topic, and it's something that I feel like could have only come from South Korea. It had like a very kind of like weird sort of like, it's kind of hard to describe, but it has that sort of like sharp sort of threatening feel that like a lot of the Hitman games had. Like the Hitman remake games, how like the kind of art design looks in that game.
I am not a gamer.
A lot of sharp edges, a lot of like snazzy clothing, a lot of high contrast colors. Uh,
Uh,
it kind of feels like that with a little bit of excess, like a little bit of capitalist excess sprinkled in.
it's
It
like
just
the
has that
first.
sort of. Hmm,
It's like the first like serious show with actual fucking color in it and like so fucking long.
yeah, like the color palette's good, the cinematography is really good, the set pieces are really good. It's just a very visually striking show. And I think
Yeah.
they pulled that off really well, and that also adds to the attraction and kind of the fascination.
I was never bored by the show. I think that also helped. I think there
Yeah,
was never
the
a moment I thought was slow. Everything was like high stakes.
the A and B plots were both very, very interesting and very high stakes as well. Because you couldn't really tell what was going to happen next. I mean, of course, obviously you could probably predict that the main character is going to survive by the end. Spoiler, sorry. But, like, it was still just like, it kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. Because it could have gone any sort of way. And I feel like the whole thing with the detective, that literally felt like it was ripped out of a Hitman game, where he's just like going into infiltrate and he's like killing guards and shit to like steal their place. It's like that is literally just a Hitman game at that point, and it's cool as shit. I like seeing shit like that. I like seeing like the like when you always have like a character in like in media, you never really see a character who's like capable in like a realistic way. Like they're usually like either like an action movie fucking hero or they're just like a limp noodle and they fail. And this guy was like kind of like a realistic sort of like, hey, I'm gonna infiltrate in like a realistic way and do this like whole thing very like much how anyone else would do it. And it just seemed like every decision that guy made was a decision I thought like to myself like, oh yeah, I'd probably hide in the car. Like, oh yeah, I'd probably kill a guard and take his clothes. Like, yeah, that's I'd probably go take his place and join the game as a staff member so I can learn more about it. Like, it just it was very smartly written that way, and that's what I really enjoy about it.
Oh yeah, and I also about the humor. A lot of like when serious shows have humor, it's often like very quippy. With this, like the humor, like it's like there were moments of humor every once in a while, and I felt like they came naturally to kind of keep it lighthearted, which I think like helps contrast when the show gets much darker and high stakes at moments. So
It
I
was humor mainly through like dialogue and through like situations they were in,
character
instead of it
study
just
humor.
being like, yeah, it was like character study humor. A lot of media these days, especially like new media made by like big companies like Netflix or just any new movie about anything, they can't write humor for shit. It's always just quips.
Like,
Like
hey,
they'll
audience, it isn't like it's always like meta. Like there was no need to be like deconstructionist or meta here. They wanted to like tell a good story, and they fucking did it without like having to
yeah.
like be like freeze frame. Isn't this just like cringe? It's like no, they actually embrace the absurdity, and that's what I love about it.
Ever since the sort of like Deadpool era of being like meta and fucking like, fourth wall breaking, it just like it's not even clever anymore. It's just cheap. I enjoy things that kind of immerse me more. And Squid Game was very immersing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, what else can you really say about it? It was just like a good fucking show. Go watch it, even though we basically spoiled a lot of the show. So,
Didn't spoil everything, just kind of the not even really the main beats. You still have to go watch it to understand it. Like it's a great show.
and very aesthetic. Just like the
Very
sets,
aesthetic.
the designs, and the drama, man. I'm not gonna lie. There were moments where I kind of cried like a bitch. Okay.
I mean the at the kind of midpoint of it where they were playing that marble game, that one got me. Like at the end of that got me good.
Yeah. It's you know, go fucking see it, asshole. or we'll fucking fine you. We'll beat you if you don't watch it.
Yeah.
We'll
Attention
fucking
audience and the single CIA member watching Synthcool stream to see if he's a leftist. Go watch Squid Game if you haven't already. It's pretty good. You probably won't regret it. Unless
and
you're like
I'm a
allergic
lib
to
I'm a
movies.
libertarian.
Oh god.
So yes, CIA. I am actually a Republican American, and I think Squid Games is. I would rather watch the next Captain Marvel movie. So please produce more Captain Marvel movies.
Yeah. 3 more movies and a new series, please. I am totally not a leftist. I vape. That makes
I
me a libertarian.
My favorite. I'm not a leftist. I hate broccoli. I hate bedtime. I hate Barney. Because only leftists like Barney. Barney and Hannah Montana and Justin Bieber. I like Five Finger Death Punch and Metallica.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Every like fucking libertarian and like hick ass fucking like just wallet chain haver has to listen to Five Finger Death Punch. It's like it's a law of nature.
God.
If you're a libertarian, you're a fan of Five Finger Death Punch, or you're a juggalo.
Do they even? Dude. Okay, Juggalos are cringe, but you know what? They're they're not bad people. They're just a little
Eh,
stupid. Come on.
a lot of juggalos are also leftists, so I probably shouldn't have made that comparison, but
Yeah.
I guess like if you vape, if you play MX versus ATV on your PlayStation 2, if you listen to Tool, or if you listen to Five Finger Death Punch, you're probably a libertarian.
Look, you could probably get Juggalos against the Amazon Corporation if you just tell Juggalos that like Amazon, they're fake people. And
I mean, honestly, there was like a juggalo march against Nazis in DC not too long ago.
the Juggalo leftist alliance drinking mountain on off-brand Mountain Dew, celebrating.
Yeah, we're drinking Mountain Mist.
But I'm not part of that. I'm a Republican, and
Oh yes, Synthcool's a Republican furry. He prays to God and he yiffs in bed.
well, I think now that the truth is
God
out,
in the God in the streets, fursuit in the sheets. Am I right?
hell yeah. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this stream. So, yeah, go Ron Paul 2012. You want to plug anything?
Uh, go look at my YouTube channel. It's called Lord Meatball on YouTube. I post hot garbage there. Uh, yeah, go check it out. I sometimes post,
Yeah, and
and
he won't change his name in a week. So, yeah.
I will not change my name for at least a little bit. And also follow me on Twitter at Lord Meatballer.
Or you can suck my balls.
Yeah. And that's all I have to plug. So yeah, enjoy looking at my profile, people who listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed me ranting.
I hope you by the way, if I kind of like sounded like tired and like rambling and saying like a lot, it's because I'm tired and it's like 3 a.m. So bazinga.
Like and subscribe, and I'll commission a furry to make me a rant sona so I can just re-upload this entire thing, but with me my rant sona doing motions to it.
All right, later, dudes. All right, this is a separate recording. Congratulations, you made it through all of that. Wow. You have no reason to complain about my channel because you listened to all of that, you fucking loser. Anyway, I forgot to read off the members. The cool guy, generous guy. So let me just do it quickly. Thank you, Fat Kid Productions, Dennis Bowen, Dr. Cider, Techno Drip, Spyman 3000, Adam Deerdak, Pissed Off Al, MD Lofty 1234, Super J 47, Little Lasagna, Scoops, and The Symptom. Thank you. Have a good day.
Big McThankies from McSpankies.